It's like a very sophisticated mountain bike. It's a little bit boring. It may not be as bad as it looks, it's just alarming to watch. Apart from the stealability. That's it, I'm afraid. Game over. Welcome to Ride with Nick, where this week I have something just a little bit left field for you. And you find me here on a bank holiday Monday. It's a glorious, glorious sunny Scotland. And of course, what everyone does on a bank holiday throughout all of time is gets out of the town and goes to the seaside. So my attempt is to take this Zero FXE 7.2 electric supermoto commuter style thing from here 25 miles to the seaside and get back on a single charge. Zero say this is good for 40 to 100 miles, so we're stretching the minimum and we are not exceeding the maximum. I think I'm going to get a touch of range anxiety, and I'm sweating enough as it is in full kit. See how it goes. I'm quite looking forward to this. This is a 12,000, an eye-watering 12,300 pounds fully electric motorcycle. In old school money, it's giving you the equivalent of 46 horsepower, which is bringing you in just underneath the A2 license compatible motorcycles. They say it's the fastest thing you can own as an A2 license holder, which gives it some kind of kudos, especially if you can stump up that kind of money. The thing is, it has a staggering, only an electric bike can give you this, a staggering 78 foot-pounds of torque delivered all at once through your throttle grip. Mental. We have very high quality 42mm Showa forks at the front and a remote reservoir rear shock absorber also by Showa at the back. This bike weighs in at 135 kilograms. So at the front is a 320mm disc. It's bolted directly to this wheel. These are forged wheels, again for lightness, and there's a 2-piston floating caliper grabbing that. It's a J. Juan of Barcelona brake system. What I did notice, and I'm surprised by, but it's a cool little thing, this duck-billed spoiler on the front here. We have an unexpectedly warm Scottish summer, and it is in fact starting to lift away the top section from the back, which kind of points a little bit to quality. However, bear in mind that this bike is built to a budget, because a lot of that money is this very funky electric motor in here. That's where your cash is actually being spent, probably not on the overall bike itself, but it's high quality components, and it is of course very, very light, very chuckable and silent as you glide through the city, or today to the seaside. So that's all the talking done. As you can see, I've got my fingers crossed, because the next thing is we're going to go out on the road, and I certainly hope I get at least 50% battery on the way there, because I'm going to need the other 50% to get home again. What the hell happens if you run out of charge on one of these? Is there a roadside assistance number or something? He never said anything about that. He just dropped it off, chucked me the keys and ran. It's a bank holiday for you. Zero FXE, fully electric, very surreal. You've got no lever on this left-hand side. You've got one twist and go on the right. You've got a conventional front brake, and you've got a conventional back brake. Everything that you would expect on an ordinary motorcycle is here. There's your handlebars, there's your hazard lights, there's your flash on the front, there's your indicators, press and cancel. You've got a lovely clear screen. You've got no wind protection, but this is a very wide barred, light supermoto style bike. That's its kind of vibe. It's upright. I think it's a 33-inch high seat, and the loudest thing on this bike is the wind noise. I'm just gonna put some of these corners behind me and then concentrate. I would say, from having ridden a couple of other things, it wants a little bit more regen. When you roll off the throttle, I'm still having to brake which in something like this where the battery is everything, you could be putting back into the battery at that point. There's no need to use the brakes. The brakes are fine, absolutely on the money. It would look laughable on paper to have a 320mm disc on the front being clamped by a twin piston floating caliper, but in this instance 135 kilograms, that's like me full of curry with a rucksack on, ready for the weekend. That's about the weight I weigh when I'm queuing up for a Ryanair flight. I'm about 135 kilograms, and that's what this whole bike weighs, which is remarkable, and that gives it a very flickable sense. It's just it changes directions, it wiggles. It's almost like a toy or a bicycle, and that's what makes it a little bit odd, because it's a motorbike and yet it's kind of not a motorcycle. So back to the facts. It's a key, so we've got a key to switch it on, and you switch the key one position past, and of course there's no sound. You've got an ignition kill switch on the right, switch it on, and that's you just sit. As the very nice man from Zero said to me when he handed it over, whatever you do, don't make the mistake of sitting at the traffic lights thinking, is this on, and try revving it in order to find out, because it's going to get you into a whole lot of trouble. And actually, many aspects of this bike will get you into a whole lot of trouble, because the 78 foot-pounds of torque means that you just have a wall, a solid wall of acceleration. National speed limits, that's what we love, and there we go. It's just a point and squirt overtake machine. And you come up behind things like this, proper motorcycles, listen to that. All I can hear is him. I can't hear me. I'm making no sound at all. And that's part of what lets these down a little bit. It's you want them to be making a sound. Well, I got the juice, of course I got the juice. It is so rapid. And I cannot believe that this is A2 license compatible. As a learner, you'd really have to keep yourself in check for something this mental, because it's proper fast, only up to 80, 85. I mean, that's its top speed, but you just wind it on. There's no gears, it's seamless. In a way, it's a little bit lazy because there's just nothing to do. Push on the wide bars, you don't have to climb all over it. There's nothing really to climb over. It's so narrow and compact, and the market it's aiming at, the kind of commuter market, it's perfect for that. This would be deadly, and not in a bad way, deadly in a good way, in a very effective way, in any city or urban environment. It is expensive. £12,300, that is a lot of money. That puts it firmly in the region of the BMW CEO4, and that is a very sophisticated piece of urban mobility, which is designed just for that. It's got fast recharge, this doesn't. This has got a giant kettle lead which you plug into a conventional house plug, and 8 hours later Bob's your uncle. Well, he's not, but your Zero FXE is fully charged for £700 more. It's just ridiculous. £700 more buys you a fast charger, and if you spent the 12.3, maybe £700 makes bugger all difference at all. Buys you the fast charger, which effectively cuts that in half. But you have to remember what this is aimed at. Oh, pegs down, lovely. It's a lot of fun. It's very capable. Skinny little tyres. Your insurance will cost you nothing. You can plug it into your grand's kettle wall socket and she'll never know. Unplug the toaster in the room, the breakout room at work. Everyone's sitting around, microwaves pinging away, pasties for 12 o'clock. You could plug your Zero in. I like it a lot as a way of getting from one place to another within its parameters. You have to bear in mind its parameters. That range, they say 40 to 100 miles, and you're not going to get 100 miles out of this, not if you use it to anything like its potential. There's a custom mode, so you've got 3 modes. Eco, which should eke out whatever you're going to get. Maximal gives you maximum recharge, which is still not enough for me. As you roll off the engine braking, more of that could be pushed back into the battery. Sport, which is exactly what it sounds like, and gives you instant acceleration, everything. Custom is some kind of app you connect to your phone, and you can alter the regen and alter other aspects. If I haven't got to grips with that part of it yet, and it'd be something that's useful to explore. So we've got good handlebars, we've got lovely seating position, we've got no wind protection, but you're bombing around the town, you're getting into work. At an absolute minimum, you could travel 40 miles in one direction, and that's decent for most people. You could plug it in, and 4 to 8 hours later, you'd have 40, 50, maybe 60 miles back again to your house. So as an urban mobility solution that doesn't look like something out of Battlestar Galactica, because the CEO Ford does, and I like it, and I like that about it, but it's deliberately trying to position itself as a future-y kind of super scooter with lots of storage and luggage and places to put things and heated seats. This is exactly the other side of that. This is small, fast, nimble, simple, minimum, no intervention, no fuss. It's got some lovely Bosch ABS, which does the job. It's running through some very well managed electrics, so if the bike's cranked over in the corner and you open it, it doesn't just spin up or over pressure the rear tire. The drive is clean and decisive. On a day like today, this is fantastic. It takes a bit of time to get used to no lever there. I keep looking for a lever there. Even on the super scoots, you've got the back brake on the left, front brake on the right, but on this there's just nothing. It's like there's a space. But after a couple of hours, you just get used to it. You can, I don't know, pick your nose or put your hand on your knee, which seems to be a favourite thing for motorcyclists everywhere when they're travelling along. They put their left hand on their knee to show how incredibly casual they are, and just ride along right-handed. Yeah, feels good. It's eerie. It's uncanny and eerie to have no engine noise at all, and no sound pushing back against the drive and the feeling that you're getting pushing forwards. You hear the wind, you hear what's going on around you, you feel quite connected. It's a little bit, dare I say, it's a little bit boring to have no gears to change. I miss it. Look, there's nothing to do. I just pull on the front brake, there's nothing to disengage, there's nothing to cock up, you can't stall, you can't miss a gear, you don't have to stumble around for neutral, you're just green, off you go, turn, twist, go. So everything that's good about it, and there is a lot that's good about it, there really is, could also be, if you're comparing it to a motorcycle, could also be bad, because they're things that generally motorcycles are not known for, and not something that we particularly want or long for. But as a way to get around town, if it was this or the bus, oh Jesus, no question about it. It's a fantastic device. If these were 7 or 8 grand, they'd be everywhere. Apart from the stealability, it seems to be the hoodlums' current getaway transport of choice. I don't know how I'd feel parking this anywhere really, and that's an unfortunate thing. It's a little bit uninvolving because it's so good at what it's doing. It's so simple. It's like a video game. It's like I don't know, a motorcycle is very real, it's tangible, it's physical. You have to interact with it. If you're going to get this technology which automatically keeps the bike upright, which I'm hearing is the next step forwards for us. So you basically, your bike can't fall over, which I don't know, you decide. But for me, kind of the whole point, the excitement, the fun, the value, the hobby that makes this what it is of course the bike can fall over, and it's absolutely crap when it does. It's terrible when your bike falls over, but the fact that it can, and the only thing stopping it from is you, is sort of what makes motorcycling. But if you try one of these, and if it fits the bill, if it answers your questions, then do try one of these, because there's nothing quite like it, and it's very, very good. A little bit cheap feeling, the components are good, they're a good quality, suspension, decent brakes, the engine is proprietary to Zero and feels seamless. Everything's fine, but just the way it's kind of bolted together feels a little bit low end. The plastics are a little bit kind of cheap feeling. This mud guard on the front is a little bit kind of floppy and cheap feeling. It's not over-engineered, let's put it that way. But as I said, if that's what you're looking for, this will do that all day long, and you'll be glad you had one. I see why people in these electric cars are so damn smug, because you just roll it on and it does everything for you, but it's not driving. And comparing electric and petrol, it doesn't actually make a lot of sense. If you want what electric does, it's actually another string to urban transport, or just transportation, individual human transportation, that's what I'm going to call it. It has another string to its bow, which is electric, but they're not the same. They're not. One you would do recreationally, and one like this, and probably electric cars to some extent, you do for the pure functionality of it. It brings a lot of fun into the function, but it's a functional utilitarian device. Motorcycling you will do because you want to, because it tickles your soul, it makes you feel very alive. This will get you to where you want to go, and it will take you back again. It's funny the way things are and the way they're changing, because they definitely are. And although that's very addictive, that instant punch, it's kind of its party trick. And I don't know if that would get a little bit wearing. Maybe not. Hey, what the hell? I've got it. Let's explore it. You can feel the suspension when it hits some of the heavy crashing potholes. State of the roads is horrible. When it hits some of the heavy stuff, it loses its ability to absorb anything. It crashes and bottoms out a little bit, finds its limitations. Well, we've made it here to the seaside, so that's me halfway through the trip. I'm on 63% battery, and no real drama so far. Mixed reservations about this. As a piece of mobility transport, as a piece of technology, it is devastatingly effective. Absolutely. Overtaking cars, it's just a single roll on and past. It gives you all the speed you need, but in a way, and I'll clarify that as the day goes on, there's a feeling that this is not actually a motorcycle. It looks like a motorcycle. It looks exactly like that motorcycle right there. It's got the wheels, got the handlebars, it's got the mirrors. It's almost like they are the same, but they are not. This here is a fully immersive experience. You've got smell, you've got taste and the exhaust, you've got the sound, and you've got the feeling and the vibration of a living kind of machine that you are interacting with. Whereas this, it's a little bit cold, it's a little bit digital, and it's almost like virtual reality, like those games you used to play at the seaside where you had the simulator, except brought to life. So it's a difficult thing because it divides me. It's a lot of fun and it's very effective, but I've had to think about it. This guy here, he can go anywhere this afternoon. He could stay overnight, he could keep going, he could just That's what these things are about, freedom. The motorcycles have a sense of freedom about them, and that's got it because he can top it up anywhere. I've got to really think about this. I can't go anywhere this afternoon, even if I wanted to. I've got to calculate, plan, make sure I'm okay, and still, I don't know if I'm going to get back. I took B roads all the way up, didn't touch the motorways, kind of didn't spank it all the way, just behaved myself here and there. I don't know, will I get back? It's a limitation, and to some degree, however accomplished these things are, they are limited and will remain so while range is an issue. A lot of fun though, very effective. So it's not all about the motorcycling. The point of today was to come to the seaside, and apparently the seaside is very refreshing. So I may as well go and find out what it's all about. Yeah, it's very refreshing. So they say Daytona boots are 100% waterproof. Not totally sure about the 100% waterproof, but if I do the other one, hop on the bike, worry about anxiety range, and see what it's like on the way back and get this review on the road again. Seaside Zoro. Overall, it's a very likable device. I'm going to stop calling them motorcycles. They do have a motor. It's an electric motor. I don't know if that qualifies. It's like a cross between a really sophisticated mountain bike in fact that is what it is. It's like a very sophisticated mountain bike, not a cross between anything. That's what it feels like. Just you don't have to pedal, and I don't know what would happen to you if you did get to the point that you ran out of juice and you did have to pedal. I've almost got enough juice to take this up on the bypass. I'm kind of wondering what would happen to the range, because it's defied all odds. I thought the distance I was doing there and back was going to test it, but it's actually done remarkably well. Remarkably well. Better than I could have anticipated. I'm going to risk one junction of motorway. I may have bitten off a little bit more than I can chew. I certainly hope not, because getting stuck on something small, nimble and light at the side of the motorway is just not where this is so easy to steer. It just flicks from ear to ear. There we go. It's got a decent turn of pace. As long as you've got enough battery, it'll keep up with this stuff all day long. I'm not struggling here. Alright, that's it. That's its max. And the Seat Altea has got a little bit more. But this is plenty. Absolutely plenty. I am watching the battery monitor fall through the floor, however. It may not be as bad as it looks, it's just alarming to watch. This is like a two-wheeled transportation device from Logan's Run. Look it up if you don't know what it is. It may be terrible by today's standards. Today's standards, cripes, I'm starting to sound ancient. You know, while we're still allowed to do stuff like this, maybe life is good, and that's the thing to celebrate. I would have one of these. I wouldn't want it to replace a motorcycle. I'd still need an actual bike that does all the things an actual bike does. But I'd certainly have one of these. There are many different types of people. That much is obvious. And I don't know if you're anything like me, but I'm one of those people that actually quite enjoys a bit of range anxiety. So there we are on this little funky screen here. Although it's not showing me any reds, which I feel it should be, I am down to 5%. And as any sensible man would do at 5%, I've flicked it across to Eco, which is all feeling very worthy, and tends to be not how I roll. So I flicked it back up to Sport. We're on 5%. I've got 3 miles left. As I was saying, I like to run my vehicle until it's virtually empty, which gets me into various different amounts of trouble sometimes. Have you ever had the satisfaction of that feeling as you roll with the engine off into a petrol station down a hill and then switch the ignition off and know you've made it? Admittedly, at least twice I've ended up stuck on the M25 about 200 meters away from the junction I was trying to get off at, and had to walk it to go and get a can of fuel. But that's the risks you run when you're playing the game you play. And the only reason that game is fun is because you know at the other end is fuel. And you also know, as long as you've got credit cards, you can fill it up and then just be on your way and start all over again. It's like a stick or twist. It's actually, I mean, there's a risk involved, but the risk is you'll have to walk for your cheek. With something like this, it's a whole different level of risk, because wherever this stops in 3 miles or 3%, I'm going to have to stay for 8 hours. which is not something to be taken lightly. The most you'll have anywhere else is a couple of mile walk. 8 hours. I could be anywhere for 8 hours, like here, or here, or here, and suddenly, I'll tell you what, in sport mode it's gone down very quickly. I'm going back to Eco. I've gone 2 miles and 2%, just like that. And now I'm getting the feel, because 8 hours is very real. Well, there we are. My range is 0, and my battery is 0. So, bit of an A-team situation, because I'm not where I need to be. In fact, I'm just on a road in the countryside, and I'm nowhere. I'm basically waiting for this to go, that's you, game over, stopped. Well, that's it. Out of juice, nothing, 0, finished. My 0 is in fact at 0. And yeah, I'm on a roundabout. Looks like this is where I'm going to be for the next 8 hours. So at least you know what happens when you do go all the way and absolutely run out of juice. You get a little sort of red flashing triangle there, and you can flick the throttle all you want, and that's it, I'm afraid. Game over. It's the same if you run out of jungle juice. You run your car down to 0, it's the same, but I suppose you've got choices then. You can wander to a fuel station, you can phone someone, or you can ditch it and walk home. But now I'm 8 hours away from any sort of 8 hours away from any sort of help at all. Much like the A-team, it's very good to have a backup plan. And this is my backup plan. So if you're going to have a problem, find a way to fix it. And I would respectfully suggest that there are a number of different solutions. This to me looks like a very good one. Yeah, have you got fuel? It's no good. I need 8 hours worth. Have you got 8 hours and a generator in there? Alright, let's see what the solution is then. This looks promising. Well, that's the end of that journey, at least until tomorrow. Now that looks very much, Phil, like my kind of solution. Is that what I think it is?
Want to do it right? It may as well be the BMW XR.
What are we doing with Zero?
Up to the right hand side, please.
Beautiful. This is the future. So all you basically need is a 12,300 pound Zero. You need a 30 grand van. You need a man with shades. And then you need one of these. You need one of these in reserve. What a thoroughly good choice for a day like today. So what you can do is you can drop your Zero XR, Zero XR, you can drop your Zero FXE into a man with a van, and then have we got a key?
Ready to go, just start that.
Oh, key tucked away in there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're looking for we've got 2 bars of fuel. What the heck? What kind of service are you running here? Do you know, that'll get me to the next fuel station, and then I can put fuel in and I can carry on, and then I can run out and get to 2 bars of fuel, and I get to the next fuel station and I can put fuel in and I can carry on, and then I can run out and I get to the next fuel station, and so it just keeps on going. It's like a totally open-ended thing. There's no delay. That does sound nice. That's what I've been missing, is noise. I've had no noise all day. Thank you very much. Do you do this for everyone with a Zero? And there we are. That's one way to get on your way. That's what I've been missing. Back to the future. Oh, quick shifter, a clutch, a gearbox. How good is that? I see why we invented these things in the first place. You got slow clutch control. Ah, this is what I miss. Whoa! Happy place, happy place. It's about being in your happy place. I know I cheated. I deliberately cheated because I wanted this Zero to go all the way down to that Zero just to find out kind of what happened. Obviously this is a commuter bike and we've used it for a long range thing, but it's a very viable question. I don't think it's a case of this is the future and that is the past. These two different ways of approaching a motorcycle actually sit side by side. They're not really in competition. Maybe this is the future, but you need a place for that in the future as well, because that still does something that this never will. Although in its own right, it's a thoroughly effective and devastating piece of equipment. If you're thinking about one, you can't go wrong. Get involved, ride it, enjoy it, see what it's all about. So now, after a day out at the sea, bank holiday, I'm going home to dry my boots. I'm not taking this, it's going in the van. I'm going on this. If you liked it, then like it and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week for something altogether different. Lovely.